to TNN, or Transportation News Network. Our channel is responsible for letting you know how transportation in America has changed over time. Prior to the transportation revolution, passing information within the states took far too much time. We relied heavily on animals for much of our transportation, and sometimes it could take weeks, even months, to send and deliver a letter or package. However, the magnificent transportation revolution made getting information across much faster and more efficient.
On my knee, I'm going to Louisiana, my true love for to see.
It's 1792 here in sunny old Philadelphia. I'm standing on the 62-mile Lancaster Turnpike as we speak, and I can tell you, it's pretty wild out here. We have some breaking news. A man by the name of John Johnson just drove his vehicle into a toll booth on his way back to Lancaster after visiting his mother. Let's take a look at the damage. So what happened?
I guess I was in such a rush to get back home. I even forgot to pay the toll.
And now you've paid the price. Remember, this is the country's first toll road, and it is important to many Pennsylvania travelers. So make sure you are always staying safe. And now, let's flash forward to 1817.
I jumped aboard the telegram.
Hello and welcome to TNN. Today we will be discussing the beginnings of the Great Revolution of Transportation in America. It all started when canals were established in 1799, 18 years ago. The construction of canals has connected cities by water, making inland transportation quicker and easier.
The first popular canal was the Erie Canal, that was authorized for construction in this year by New York. It travels in Clinton's Big Ditch and went for 362 miles from Buffalo and Lake Erie to the Hudson River and the New York Harbor.
The canal allowed for mule-drawn passengers and freight to be carried easily at a speed of 5 miles per hour. The price of transport went from $100 to $5 because the time it took went from 20 days to 6 days. The Erie Canal immediately became popular because it linked farms in the west to markets in the east. We dug our waterways to success.
I jumped aboard the telegram.
Roads are another form of transportation that have become such a great success. Prior to the transportation revolution, established roads were in poor condition, muddy and flooding quite often. Stagecoaches and wagons were not safe traveling on these roads because boulders were in the way. Nick, tell us a little about where you are in America.
I'm currently at Cumberland Road. Congress just authorized this national road from Maryland to Ohio at Wheeling, Virginia this year. It is the first road to cross from the Appalachian Mountains into the territory of the Old Northwest. It is the longest road building project yet and is made of crushed stone, which is an improvement that will keep the road from getting muddy or flooded. Its construction has led to the establishment of many more roads in America.
What a path to success! Although the stone our dreams are not crushed when hoping for an even better transportation to come. Speaking of which, let's travel a little over a decade into the future to see what road our country takes.
Hello, it's Nick reporting live for TNN News. Today we have many transportation advancements that 20 years ago we did not have. One of these was the steamboat. The first one was built by Robert Fulton back in 1807, titled the Clermont, which traveled about 150 miles in 32 hours, a remarkable speed.
Robert Fulton was the main reason for the steamboat's popularity, but he actually started out as a painter. He wasn't very good, however, so he turned to engineering, specifically canal engineering. He proposed his ideas on several occasions to different people. In 1801, Fulton worked with Robert R. Livingston on the steamboat in Paris using Fulton's design. Though that steamboat failed, Fulton used the same design to test a new steamboat in New York 1807, and that was a success. As a result, people were capable of traveling in all weather conditions. These boats were fast traveling and allowed for access to the rivers and waterways of the West and South. Steamboats are often used to travel through canals and other navigable waterways and promote trade all across America. Now on to Claudine, who will be talking to us about another great form of transportation.
Now we will be discussing the great phenomenon of railroads. As a few decades ago, we did not have these luxuries, but it has come to be the most important form of transportation we Americans use nowadays. But there may be some consequences. Harleen and Cassia, tell us a little bit of the history about railroads.
Thanks, Claudine. Before the Revolution, the first railroads carried goods for very short distances. But eventually, inventors and engineers wanted to be able to develop a railroad that would be used to carry goods or even passengers for a longer distance. A man named John Stevens dramatically increased the popularity of railroads. He built the first American steam locomotive in 1825 and founded the Camden and Amboy Railroad and Transportation Company. Additionally, in 1826, some businessmen launched the Baltimore and Ohio Railroad in Maryland, which is the first American railway. Its success led to other companies establishing railroads across the nation. Unfortunately, this created some issues.
Because different companies were creating trains and railroads, both were being created in different sizes and shapes. Therefore, trains could not chug along to where they needed to be. But this year, in 1830, Robert Livingston Stevens has designed an iron T-shaped rail, which is a prototype for all companies to use. It has allowed for railroads to become longer. As a result, shipping costs greatly decreased and trade industry has expanded.
Before the Transportation Revolution, rivers were the easiest and fastest way to transport goods from the north to the south. Flatboats struggled to move upstream in rivers as it took too much time and was very difficult. Then the invention of keel boats came around. These boats are built around the rigid timber in the middle with sails, therefore making them capable of moving upstream very easily. Now, people row keel boats upstream if there is no wind, and flatboats are used to move downstream.
I jumped aboard.
In the late 1850s, an undersea telegraph cable was installed in the Atlantic from North America to Ireland, connecting the European and North American continents. Clippers were the long and narrow ships that were used to travel across the ocean in all types of weather.
They were capable of gliding easily along the ocean and could transport cargo very quickly. Clippers had a high reliability rate in the ocean, and people could have a more comfortable voyage due to the amount of spaciousness in these ships.
Now let's glide into our next topic.
Welcome to the Wild Wild West! While all of y'all Northeasters are bragging about your transportation, we people in the South got the best transportation of all, ponies! I'm standing right along a portion of the 2,000-mile-long Pony Express. Cassia, give us the details!
From Missouri to California, you can deliver a letter faster than ever, 1,800 miles in only 10 days. Our young riders stop at almost 190 different checkpoints and then gallop across the states.
Well, my oh my, how splendid that sounds, and efficient too. Of course, until the telegraph comes along, but we'll save that for another day. Thank you for tuning in for another segment of TNN. Yeehaw!
In today's segment of TNN, we're going to run a quick overview about the magnificent transportation revolution. We will talk about the causes and the results. I'm here with my two transportation experts, Claudine and Cassia. Thank you for coming. Why don't we start with the causes?
Thank you for having us. Prior to the Industrial Revolution, passing information within the United States took way too long. It could take weeks, even months, to get a package or a letter to a destination. However, due to the revolution, we are capable of transporting information a lot more quickly and more efficiently as well.
Great. It has been so interesting to watch this revolution in action. And what has it done for us? We have so many means of transportation, but what else?
The steamboats have allowed us to have a steady flow of goods traveling along rivers, causing a stronger bond between the West and South. Once railroads and canals were created, we used them quite frequently in the East for trade and transport. But the more that these forms of transportation were used, the worse news it was for companies that manufactured coaches and wagons.
Wow. Thank you very much for informing both me and the rest of the world with your great transportation knowledge.